On That Dead Body Show, we talk about death and murder, and at times, we may use explicit language. Hey guys, welcome back to That Dead Body Show.
Hey guys.
I'm Douglas.
I'm Brandy.
And we're back. This week. Shut up.
Thank you guys for all the where the fuck are you messages. It means a lot. Sorry we've been away.
But now the gift-giving, returning season is over.
Thank God.
Maybe we can get caught up, get a few episodes ahead before the big true crime podcast convention in Kansas City in July. So, yeah, I'd like to have a few episodes ahead because I don't want to have to record while we're there.
No, I want to have fun.
Yeah, we're going to meet Nikki. Nikki T.
Cannot wait.
We've noticed a lot of new listeners out there as well. People, following us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, things like that.
Yeah.
New subscribers. Thank you guys. Welcome.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, yeah. I wouldn't play this out loud around your children. Because as the warning says, we do use coarse language. Well, it doesn't say coarse language. It says explicit language. But coarse and explicit language are both the same thing. It's just a colloquialism.
So is a fucking shelf over the toilet. And what do you call it?
It's an etagere. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, well, so in July of 1972, our subject of this week, Gerard Schaefer, he's a deputy sheriff. Two girls come flying out of the woods, running, bound at their, I don't know, some article said...
In the recreation photos, they're bound at the knees a weird way, but it said
running like penguins, pretty much.
I guess. With their hands handcuffed behind their back.
Right.
And they run out of the woods and flag down a cop.
Right. And they're like, this cop kidnapped us and tortured us and help us and shit. I'm sure they weren't that calm, but... Yeah. So
the cop that they named actually was employed at the same precinct as the cop they flagged down.
Right. So, and at the same time, across town, our friend Gerard is calling his boss and telling him he had done something stupid.
His boss was not at the precinct that day. He was off. It was a Saturday. He was home cutting grass. And said his wife... Can you
even imagine?
Said his wife called him into the house. Come on in. I'm sure she had to flag him down. Probably had him some iced tea. It's the South, right?
It's the South, but I mean, when your deputy calls you on a Saturday...
How much grass do they have in Florida for real, though? So he couldn't have been too far away from the door. His wife calls him in and says, there's a call from the precinct. Need you to come in. Or there's a call from Gerard. Need you to come in. Gerard says, I've done something stupid. You're going to be so angry.
I feel like that's like when your kid tells you that. Like...
If the kid knows that they've done something stupid, then it's probably past stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, he proceeds to tell his boss that he was trying to teach these two young, dumb, stupid girls a lesson that were hitchhiking.
About how dangerous it was.
Right. Which would be admirable if he really was doing that, but he's not. He has... kidnapped them, tied them up to show them what could happen to them if somebody really bad got a hold of them. And they escaped.
Says, and the boss says, well, why don't you come on down to the precinct?
Like, can you imagine the drive over? Like, just driving, just being like, what the fuck?
With the lawnmower still on the lawn.
Probably.
There.
He probably just left it there. He was probably like...
I wonder if he changed. Because grass cutting clothes are different than
I don't know, because you have to imagine his initial, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, what did you do? Because it's Saturday, and now I gotta go to work.
So he gets there, and the girls have pretty much told the same exact story.
Except...
They said that he had met them the day before. He said that as well, that he'd met them the day before, and told them that hitchhiking was bad. And he met up with them again the next day. And then he taught them their lesson. They said that the lesson included pinching them on their butts, touching them in inappropriate ways, telling them he was going to kill them or sell them into white slavery, which is like so 1970s. I'm like...
Can you just hear him? Because, like, from his interviews, he's got that, like...
And you know, that is probably what... I don't know what year this is. Probably
72.
Women in prison movies were big in the 70s.
I'm going to sell you into white slavery, girl.
Like, Sweet Brown Sugar. That was a movie. Sweet Sugar. I love that movie.
Ken Brown's dying.
So,
Side note.
yeah,
That's
coffee,
sad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, he has tied them up, told them he was going to kill them, actually tortured them emotionally, told them, one of you is going to live.
You pick.
I'll be back. And I'm not sure why he left in the middle of this torture session.
He told them
that he had an errand or he had something to do.
Right. There's different accounts.
I
think he did it just to like let him hang there because he's got him hanging and like balancing.
He might have gone to get something further to torture them with.
Well, I mean, I think it was also a psychological thing. Like, I'm going to leave you here, and so while I'm gone, and they're panicking, and they're, you know...
well, they panicked enough to shimmy their way out of the noose.
I would have probably panicked. As badass as I usually think I would be if this would happen, think about this. You're balancing on this tree stump thing or whatever.
Right, he had stood them on mangrove trees, which the roots grow above the water in Florida.
Right.
Part of the ecosystem. There's actually a really neat thing I read up on him. He and the girls are standing on these slippery ass roots in pretty much, I mean, technically a swamp. It's technically a swamp. Maybe Everglade, or what do they call it? That's what it is. The Everglades. Yeah. So I
love how if you're in Florida, it's the Everglade. If you're in Louisiana, you're in the Bayou Swamp.
Right. So they're standing on these roots, slippery. They get out of the nooses and they escape. He gets there. He immediately gets stripped of his badge. Pretty much.
And arrested.
You're on leave and arrested for two counts.
False imprisonment and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
So he bonds out.
$15,000.
I mean, that's actually a chunk of change.
I mean, back then, that was a lot.
And this is, like we said, this is July.
Yes.
And he's bonded out, and he's given a court date of November, which
right.
Not unheard of.
So you're probably asking yourself, where's the dead body?
Yeah, well, or, how could a cop do this,
Right.
Or
cops were supposed to protect us.
Yeah, how could this happen?
Well, we'll answer that and more after the Creepy Kids.
Welcome to episode 12, Gerard Schaefer, the Killer Cop.
What a dick. I mean,
that's kind of redundant.
Well, yeah.
We're using all the big words today. Etagé, redundant.
Ass dick. I mean...
colloquialism.
It's just really hard to teach your kids growing up that you should respect a cop and trust a cop, and a cop will never hurt you when there's
stories
motherfuckers like this. Yeah. Okay, so our friend Gerard was born in 1946 to some
okay, boomer.
Right? To some people said really super Catholic parents, really religious.
But his dad was a womanizer an alcoholic who flaunted his extramarital affairs.
But he said some Hail Marys.
Oh, it's okay then.
Right.
Sorry.
So he didn't have a really good relationship with either of his parents because he apparently did the famous thing that every kid thinks, that they favored the other sibling.
He was the oldest, and I believe he had two younger sisters.
I saw one and then I saw 2, so I'm really not sure.
Okay, but
at least one though, for sure.
And they favored the female, the girls.
Yeah.
Which made him do some strange cross-dressing things beyond.
Because he wanted to be a girl.
Beyond the age of, I'm just walking around in mom's high heels.
Well, because he thought that they favored them because they were girls.
Right. So he took to wearing women's underwear, which, hey, whatever, man. Silky drawers are nice sometimes. I can't see wearing women's because there's no room. I mean, because women don't need room.
Maybe he didn't need room.
Oh, well, there's that. Ooh.
Anyway.
So, yeah, he was creepy as shit. He would stare at women through their windows, doing the peeping Tom thing. He accused one girl that lived like across from him, or down the road. I mean, not too far. He lived in a small town.
Yeah, I mean, it said a neighbor, so
that she was undressing in her window to taunt him, and he was going to stop.
Because
he was. I mean, I think someone did say that he had said he was going to stop her, and actually that was his girlfriend at the time, sondra-London.
She a hoe.
Yeah, well.
She's not. Wait a minute. Time out. She's not just a hoe. She's a serial killer hoe.
Yeah, groupie.
Literally. Anyway, so apparently he also thought that he was the product of a forced wedding. So, but see, I don't understand that, because technically he would be the cause if he thought it was a forced wedding. I think he would have been the cause of the forced wedding, not the product of the forced wedding. Unless
true, because of like a shotgun wedding,
like bitch, you knocked up. Now you got to get married.
Make my daughter an honest woman, boy. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. He wouldn't have been the product unless it was kind of one of those. They picked out the people, because that still happened back then too.
Right. So, about the time 14 years old or so, they moved from Georgia. To Florida. They moved from, I believe, a suburb of Atlanta.
Yeah.
To Florida. His parents were involved in yachting, so they obviously had a little bit of scrulla.
Right.
Well, in the 70s, of course, everyone yachted.
Well, and if they were any type of boat people, that might have been where he got his rope issues from. I mean, you have to know all those knots, right?
So he graduates high school. I think St. Thomas Aquinas.
Was it?
I think so. I don't know. He graduated high school in Florida
in 1964. He tried to be normal, and I say normal loosely because anybody who knows me knows I'm far from normal. So I hate to say normal guy, but he tried to do what everybody expected, and he got married, and he became a teacher. And everywhere I read about this guy literally had the same quote, that he got fired for totally inappropriate behavior. Like, that's literally the quote used, I think it was at least 8 articles and the documentary that we watched. So, totally inappropriate behavior is apparently a firing of offense, and it wasn't disclosed what the totally inappropriate behavior was. Some people said that it was, it wasn't disclosed on, paperwork, but some of the theories were that he was being inappropriate with the female students, and then somebody else said that he might have been teaching, I can't even remember now.
His own morals.
Oh, yeah, his own morals.
He might have been imposing his own Catholic, morals on the children there in the 70s,
So, when that didn't go, because he got fired, because he was being a creeper, or whatever his totally inappropriate behavior. It sounds like something Bill and Ted would say. It's totally inappropriate behavior, man. He decides, well, okay, so I can't be a teacher. I'm going to be a priest. Because that's not creepy at all. But they tell him, you're not religious enough. Or you don't have your faith.
You don't have enough faith.
Which I don't get, because I don't know who the fuck gets to tell you how much faith you have, but
they do in the Catholic Church.
Exactly. I mean, okay.
If you want to become a Catholic, you have to take classes. Baptists are the only folks that take people. I guess the Protestants.
My ex-husband was Catholic. He wanted me to take classes. No, I didn't.
Also Judaism.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to take classes.
My brother did that for his wife.
Yeah, do
he's never committed to shit, so that was kind of major. Right. Anyway, so, I'm sorry, this just blows me away.
His marriage falls apart.
Right.
They were married right
4
at
years.
2 years.
Yes, 2 years, I'm sorry.
And she cited extreme cruelty as one of the reasons for wanting the divorce.
I mean, I wonder what extreme... Because, like, we're talking, like, in the 60s, so...
70. Well, yeah, like
68.
the 60s, yes.
I thought they got divorced in 68.
They got divorced. No, they got married in 68 and divorced in 70.
Oh, I'm
May
sorry.
of 70.
You're right. My bad. I've lost my mind, too. Either way, but, I mean, can you just imagine back then what extreme cruelty was? Because, like, even still back then, it was still thought that, you know, like, women had to obey and shit. I would have not lived back then very long. I'm guessing. I would have been on my own podcast.
So, he trying to recoup from his failed marriage, he takes the summer off in Europe and North Africa.
Because that made sense.
And came home with a brand new plan. Decided he couldn't be a teacher and couldn't be a priest.
So let's be a cop.
He applied to several departments and got rejected by
everybody.
But he failed a psychological test in Broward.
Okay, but see,
Broward County. If you fail a psychological test to become a cop, well, that's now, I guess. Never mind. If you fail a psychological test to become a cop in Broward County, Florida,
right,
then you're crazy. You're insane.
But maybe even then. So,
I mean,
okay, but see, my next question to this was, and I know, obviously, today is a different time. Like, there's got to be, like, a database for this shit. Like, so-and-so failed this. Like, don't hire them. I'm assuming. But, like, back then, obviously, there wasn't.
It was all paper.
But, like, I guess, so if he didn't put down that he had already tried this elsewhere, they wouldn't call him.
Nobody knew that he had failed. You know, he hadn't applied anywhere else. No one would know.
That's how all these motherfuckers got away with so much shit back then. Like, I swear.
So finally, a small police department hired him.
Wilton Manors.
Which sounds like he was a private cop in a gated community. To me, I'm just going to say that.
But to me, it sounds like something from, like, fucking, what was it? Dark Shadows. Wilton Manors.
Wilton Manors.
Where are you going? I'm going to Wilton.
Don't go to Wilton Manors.
See, it also cracks me up because the first part of my route is in Wilton, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So, he earned a commendation. He, in March of 72, he earned a commendation, in a drug bust. And, and then a month later, on April 20th, 420, blaze it, he was fired.
And there's not one story, like...
The chief said that he didn't have an ounce of common sense. That's a quote.
Yeah, that was a quote.
He didn't have an ounce of common sense. An ex-FBI agent who I do believe, Robert Ressler.
Yes. The man.
The man, right? Said he was disciplined for running women's information after he had stopped them on traffic stops.
And calling them for dates.
Who knew if the traffic stops were even real? He might have just saw hot chick. She's speeding. Pulled her over. Can I see your license? Oh, you live there? Okay, cool.
So that's terrifying.
Yeah. And then he just calls out of the blue. So, you remember when you were speeding on A1A last week? Well,
that would piss me off.
Want to go out?
So, like, you know,
this was the 70s, though. Nobody even really thought of that, though. I mean, there hadn't been all these women found in boxes and containers and shit like that at this point.
How far are we off from Ted Bundy at this point?
Not long, not far.
But he's already doing his shit though up north. He hadn't made it.
Right.
I don't know, dude. Still.
So, whatever. He dicked around for a couple of months, and he finally got signed on with another sheriff's department in Martin County.
Every time they said that, when I was like watching the documentary, I thought they were fucking it up, and it was supposed to be Marion.
So did I. I kept hearing Marion. In fact, I said Marion a bunch of times, and I'll try not to say Marion during this. But Martin County hired him, and you might think, well, he just got fired. How the hell did he get the job? He faked a letter of recommendation.
I mean,
which along with his drug bust commendation, which I'm sure he had pictures of him with the medal and shit, and probably a gold leaf and all type thing, a little scroll, and oh, you're gonna fire me? Oh, can I get some letterhead on my way out?
So you'd think that going to all that trouble to fake recommendations, he would fly right after he got hired somewhere else.
But it's like a month, right?
But yeah, it's like literally about a month where we loop back to where we started to explain to you how the dead bodies come in. He picked up the two girls, Pamela Wells and Nancy Trotter, who we told you about in the beginning, and he gets the trial date, and...
he picks them up, he loses them,
Right, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you know, what we told you in the beginning. So, he gets his trial date, and they just don't even know what the fuck they're dealing with. Like, these...
Right, so they're like, yeah, okay, you just kidnapped these two women, and you threatened to kill them?
Just, you know...
Just come back in November.
Just chill, dude. Just go home. You know, you got a wife. Just calm down. Like, it's fine. I'm sorry. I even back then, I know back then it was still supposed to be, you know, kind of like, this could never happen. So I guess they weren't expecting it. But he goes on trial in November. And
cuts a deal.
Pretty much.
He pleads and gets a year. Is that right?
Yeah. But he's like, dude, do I have a wife? Can I go get her settled? I want to say with, like, her mom, but, like, pretty much relocated. So the judge is like, sure, you know what? You're a cop. You were a cop. Sure. You just go relocate your fucking wife.
The 70s were such a happy-go-lucky, carefree time.
Apparently.
I mean, before AIDS.
I tell you what, you just go relocate your wife, and you come back and report here.
In January.
January. Have it, dude. Go. January 15th, he starts serving his sentence. And a couple months later, on March 25th, he has some visitors. The police come to him, and they want to know what he was doing back in September. Did he meet a couple girls and take them, you know, on a joyride? And he's like, no.
Because these girls have been reported missing.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't know who you're talking about. No clue.
Which is really strange because they had the license plate of the car the girls had gotten into. And the mother said that the person they drove off with was Jerry Shepherd.
Yeah.
Jerry Shepherd.
And they were going to go play guitar at the nearest, at the beach.
And she noted that it was a
blue-green Datsun.
Yeah, and got the tag number.
Because she was on it.
And the police were so, I guess, naive in the 70s that they didn't go... Jerry Shepherd, Gerard Schaefer.
Right.
It's like...
Well, I mean, even if they did really believe him, I mean, I don't know why they weren't like, so we were in jail for kidnapping two girls and taking them to the woods and tying them up. That was two girls.
But he was like, nope. Right. Never saw them. And they were like, okay. And...
They left.
But then, like, 3-4 days later?
Yeah, April 1st.
1973.
Yeah. These guys were, you know, collecting aluminum cans for recycling, and they find them. They find the skeletal remains.
They weren't collecting aluminum cans for recycling. They were collecting aluminum cans for money. I mean, let's not make it like they were trying to save the world. They were trying to make probably cash for wine. Okay. or heroin.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they were going to take them to the recycling center.
Right. So they're collecting cans. And
they find the skeletal remains
of two girls.
Yeah.
They matched dental records, I believe.
Yes.
And it comes back that it's the two girls that were missing in September.
Yes. Susan Place had been shot in her jaw, which was apparently one of his big fantasies. I'm not sure why shooting somebody in the jaw gets him all, like, ready to go in his life, but apparently shooting them in the jaw does. He says that later, like, a lot. In, like, all the video. Anyway.
Right.
It takes a couple days for the dental records and all that, and they are identified. And the crime scene indicates that two girls were tied to a tree and butchered.
And somebody goes, hey.
Funny story.
The Gerard Shepherd, Jerry Schaefer.
Yeah.
Tag number went back to him and the
he was
girls.
In jail. Yep.
It looks like the same crime scene. And they piece it together.
Right. So on April 7th...
Get a clue, Scooby-Doo.
Right. I was literally just thinking of Scooby-Doo. Get the fuck out of my head.
I know. We've been together too
Like, I
long.
was thinking of when Fred always pulls the mask off and it's never...
Right.
Mr. Hyde. Okay. Anyway, so on April 7th, they get a search warrant and they search his mom's house. And because he had stored his shit there after he relocated his wife and all that. He had, given his shit to his mom.
And they find a letter addressed to Jerry Shepard. Coinky-dink? I think not.
Okay, so in all of his shit, they find all kinds of shit.
Jewelry boxes,
like
clothing.
all these pages of his like crazy ass rantings and drawings that are not good, by the way. His drawings, like, I think Mike could do better, and that's sad.
Drawings of
mutilated women
and stories of mutilating women.
Yeah, like a bunch of that.
Like 100 over 100 pages.
Yeah. The newspaper there were newspaper clippings and
I did note that they were double spaced as well. So it was 100 pages double spaced. Just saying.
What a loser. At least the guy in 7 had that like tiny shit going.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Anyway,
so they find IDs.
Yeah, they found there was like newspaper clippings about people who have been missing since 1969.
Along with their IDs.
Yeah, I mean, he just literally had like all this shit, and so the cops are like, "Whoa, what had happened? This is way more than 2 girls." I mean, this is they realize right then that he's probably got at least 30.
But for the most part, all of that's really circumstantial.
Very, because
I mean,
these bodies haven't,
they haven't even found the bodies of them.
No, I don't think they have now.
So.
One of the people that they find stuff for is his old neighbor that he used to say was taunting him. Right.
And which is really weird because they became tennis partners later on, is what it said. Yeah.
Hi, let's go play tennis.
Because
I'm gonna kill you later.
Because she had disappeared. Her husband said that she was going to reunite with a high school boyfriend, and Schaefer had offered her a job at the CIA, making $20,000 a year in 1973.
Which would have been a lot, right?
Right. And so they, over time, have linked like almost 3 dozen missing women to him. Through the collection of stuff that they found on his mom's property.
So even though they find all of these different items and whatever, and later bodies are found, he's only ever tried for 2.
Right.
And that's...
They do hold him and not let him
of course.
out. I mean,
Right, he's not going anywhere this time.
You're like, hey, I know that you really
want
want
me. Can I relocate my wife again?
Right.
Surely they wouldn't have fallen for that again. But probably so. But they don't, he doesn't even try this time. He's only charged with the 2 murders, the original ones, of Jessup Place. And he's convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder in October of 1973. And he got life imprisonment.
Like two life terms.
Right.
Concurrent.
Right.
Which is at the same time.
Right.
So. It's not consecutive.
That's my favorite. It's when you get a life and then you get, so
life
you
plus
die.
120 years.
You're not going anywhere.
Right.
I mean...
So he appealed a bunch of times. I know he filed a bunch of frivolous lawsuits. He
even sued one person for calling him fat later in an article.
Right.
But I never saw him really look fat, so I was really confused. So he sits there till about 1990. And
remember that girlfriend we were talking about earlier?
The who?
Sondra-London?
Yeah.
Right. She hooks up with him. She takes a bunch of the stories that he's written in prison.
Oh, wait. Stories.
Stories.
And you can't see me, but I'm air quoting. Because he says they're fiction.
But then later on, so he gives them to her. She publishes them under, I believe, the title Killer Fiction.
Yeah, he called them art, and the police said that they were thinly veiled descriptions of actual crimes.
Right, when she finally carries them to him,
Yeah.
because she goes back and forth with him. She's talking to him. They become like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, they get
type
back
thing.
together.
Right.
And then she leaves him for another serial killer.
Yes, Danny Rowling.
Who we did in number 2.
Episode 2. Yeah, check that out, guys. Danny Rowling.
I really didn't realize she
the masked rider.
The mystery writer.
Mystery writer, sorry.
I really didn't realize she serial killer hopped. Because she did it again after Danny Rowling.
Wow.
To somebody.
So she publishes this fiction, and she's writing him, and he's like, what do you want from me? Do you want confessions? And he's like, and he named off 2 people that, girls that they found or whatever, and and he said, what do you think? What was the title?
What do you think Murder Demons is?
What do you think Murder Demons is? So she's like, oh my God, this is a fucking confession.
Right. He said, you want confessions, but don't recognize them when I anoint you with them.
Anoint. A big word day.
And we've just gotten started, is what he said to her.
So she goes to the police, and he craves fame. He really does. He wants to be the baddest, the biggest baddest. Yeah. He said that, he had
befriended Ted Bundy.
Right. He had written up his own list of his victims, and he said he wasn't claiming a huge number, somewhere between 80
and 110.
And 110, depending on, and they cut this part of the quote from a lot of the stuff you read out there. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm not claiming a big number, somewhere between 80 and 110, depending.
I see where you're at now. Yeah. I wasn't sure.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to collect myself. He said he was claiming somewhere between 80 and 110, depending on whether you counted the pregnant ones.
It can get confusing.
As 1 or 2. So sometimes these things hit hard. Sorry.
So my question on that one though is did he actually know?
So that means
pregnant people, like were they showing?
But see, the math person in me thought between 80 and 110. So that's a difference of 30.
Right.
Depending on whether you count the pregnant ones as 1 or 2. So that means he murdered 30 pregnant women.
Wow. I
mean, that's what I'm guessing. That's the way I took that. Because the extra 30 would be the babies.
Right. Holy fuck.
I mean, I guess there were pregnant with twins in there, but I mean, I didn't take that into account. Don't make me have a math overload.
Because you'll overmath me, and we all know that's not mine.
That's not a lie.
Wow. No, it's not. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, so
wow.
He said that she goes to the police with the confessions, and they start talking to him, and he decides that he'll give them information.
Right.
And they're going to go up there, and it's like they're going to go up there on like a Friday. The Friday before the detective was supposed to go up there, and I believe she was going to go as well to help kind of facilitate the meeting. They called and said, "Don't bother coming. He's no longer with us. He's deceased."
Was it his actual cellmate or just a person?
Another prisoner. I don't know that it was his cellmate. Another prisoner had come into his cell and stabbed him in the eyes, like over a dozen times in each eye. And then gave him what's called a Glasgow grin,
right.
Where he cut him from ear to ear across his mouth. There's a famous actor, Tommy Flanagan.
Yes, he played Chibs.
That played Chibs on Sons of Anarchy. That has...
He has a real one.
He has a real one, yeah. That's not fake.
But it's only on one side, isn't it?
No, it's on both sides.
Oh, it's on both sides?
It's pretty bad.
Well, because you only see... They showed
he got jumped outside of a bar.
That's fucking right.
Yeah, he got jumped outside, and they cut pretty much from the corners of your mouth outward. And while they're cutting you, as you scream...
It hurts.
Think about it. Yeah, it rips it more.
Okay, but
think of your face opening up.
So my question is, obviously he went on to have a career, but obviously this guy didn't because he's dead. But I'm talking about Tom Flanagan. But so how they just sew it up? I mean, and what it was like this?
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Well, obviously, Shaefer here did not go on to have a career. He was dead as fuck in his cell, but...
Yeah, stabbed in the eyes. Or like, I want to say it was 16 times in each eye, which is... God,
oh, wait. Hunter's favorite. It was between 11 and 13 times.
Between 11 and 13. So that
really gets off with him.
The reasoning behind the guy attacking him was just like everybody had a different reason. Yeah. Sondra-London said it was, I believe it was her, said that it had to do with, snitches don't see, snitches don't speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he had spoken with Otis Toole, who was there. He was there with the Mount Rushmore. Not really, but Otis Toole was there, and he actually, so one of the drawings that we mentioned earlier, he had signed "Slice Me Off a Piece."
He was so creepy,
right? Otis Toole we're talking about.
No, Shaefer was too, but I mean, yeah.
Otis Toole had confessed to killing Adam Walsh,
right,
and then recanted, and he may have been a party to him originally confessing and known more about the confession, as he worked in the library at the prison, and
which is where he supposedly met Ted Bundy.
Which in one of the documentaries it said that Ted had extra library time because he had friends in the library. Right. So,
because you were telling me earlier that apparently he said that Ted Bundy wasn't
looked up to him.
But there was something else you said. I can't remember. Said he impressed him. And I just wonder if, I don't think he impressed him. No, I don't think he did. Really, Ted Bundy. I don't think anybody impressed him.
And I don't really think that Ted Bundy until the end when he thought he was going to get out of the death sentence, really didn't even talk like all the big serial killer stuff.
Right.
He didn't bask in it.
No.
He was kind of like, he didn't talk about the killings of the other inmates. He didn't do any of that until the end when he thought he could get out of the death sentence, and he was just all like, boogity, well.
No, yeah.
I mean, not really as far as he didn't go full Charlie.
Yeah, he didn't
Don't ever go full Charlie.
No, but I'm just wondering though if even if he didn't fully, because the clip that we watched a while ago where he's saying that Ted Bundy was like, how many did you really get, whatever. Right. I just wonder, but I mean I can almost see if
I can
Ted
see Ted
played people.
I can see Ted playing him to get extra library time.
Yeah, can I have this book or or more? Because I mean, I'm sure they only gave him not only set library time, but maybe set books or
only for a certain amount of time. Because other prisoners might need them.
Yeah,
especially if they were the
or maybe
legal
photo.
books.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but you know what I'm saying though. I could totally see Ted Bundy playing somebody. I mean, fuck, you can't have a cast in the jail and ask, can you come help me put this in my car? So he's got to play him somehow.
So the guy who killed him, Vincent Rivera. Sondra-London would later say that Rivera had killed him over an argument over a cup of coffee. Some accounts say that...
Okay.
Yeah. Some accounts say, hey, you can't be fucking with somebody's commissary.
I fully agree, but...
I believe a few other accounts came out that it had to do with the snitching. It had to do with money he owed.
Okay, now I can see that, but not the fucking coffee. Get real.
I mean... But the snitching could have been... okay.
Yeah, okay, anyway. So, Killer Fiction was republished in 97, and at this point, after she'd left him for
Danny
Rawling, and I believe they were engaged, by the way, at some point.
Yeah.
She added in
more pictures
and other stuff that he had sent, because at this point he couldn't sue her.
Right.
Maybe that's why he got killed. Maybe she hired dude.
I'm
joking.
Right. So that's the dead bodies.
Yeah.
There could have been more dead bodies to this story, but Vincent Rivera
stopped that.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I don't know that he was going to do anything when they came. I feel like they would have got there, and he would have just been like, yeah, no.
Or he could have played it up and tried to get something out of it.
Yeah. I mean, what could he have even got, though?
I don't know. Coffee.
Right? I mean, because he wasn't going anywhere, so, I mean, it's not like he could have got his shit cut.
Instead, he got his shit cut and stabbed.
For real, for real.
And kilt.
That would be K-I-L-T, kilt. Very much kilt. Anyway, guys.
Wrapping up this episode.
Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for...
Being here.
Right. Thanks for coming back.
We're on most social media.
I don't know what we're not on.
Well, we're on all social media at That Dead Body Show or TDBS Podcast.
I get that backwards every time.
At TDBS Podcast.
Yeah. That, what he said.
Or you can search us That Dead Body Show and find us.
Yeah, right. We're the only one. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. And we're going to close out with a promo from our friend Hunter from Murder and Such. I had obviously been working an ass ton these past few weeks and binged his shows. And it got me through several routes, laughing my ass off. So, see you next week.
Bye, guys.
My name is Hunter, and I welcome you to Murder and Such, a podcast about murders, the macabre, true crime, serial killers, and other dark subject matter. Join me for the first 50 episodes where my co-hosts and I discuss some of the most well-known cases and some you've probably never heard of. Or join me after episode 51 for a much more serious approach to true crime. You can find Murder and Such on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and all of your podcatcher services. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Murder and Such. I hope to hear from you soon.